So last year we found out during the summer donation contest that Lucky Strikes were up for a reevaluation, and basically it's going to get a nerf. And then there was a lot of back and forth. The usual suspects used it as an opportunity to try and nerf Beastmaster builds. Basically, that's what they did. They want to try to turn Hypercrit into a lean, which would fuck over like pets healing, which is what they're hoping for. That's why they tried to say that you need endurance to heal, because that means that you're probably going to have to train endurance instead of luck, which means that you won't be lucky striking your heals from your pets. And so whatever angle that they try to come up with, it's all about nerfing Beastmasters. But here we are, a week or two away from that famed nerf. And while we don't know what's going to actually happen, there are those running around Discord and whatnot, essentially claiming that they've already started it. Things are not up for discussion, and it's awfully funny that a lot of individuals were banned ahead of this, not to mention ahead of the shit changes to the donation contest. And so, in a nutshell, we're basically just waiting for staff to make this big change. Now, if they go with the lean, it's going to drastically alter Beastmasters, which is what the cult wants. But if they end up going maybe a more tame route, maybe they'll just adjust costs. Maybe they'll just make Hypercrit additive. Maybe they'll I don't know. I personally don't mind them making Hypercrit additive. I don't mind. What I would do personally is anything that increases base Lucky Strike rate doesn't add on. Like if you had a damage misc that was 20% misc, it's basically like taking your damage and adding 20%. So it's 20% added onto what's there. So like if your damage is 100, if you average 100 damage, your damage misc at 20% would make it 120 damage. But the way that the base Lucky Strikes work, like for example Lust and Envy, they're like around give or take, because it takes 2 stats to do it, but pets are worth 40% melee, so we'll call it 40%. So basically it turns your 10% base into 50% base, and that drastically increases your damage. Probably what they need to do is similar to the damage misc, is make a plus 40 to base, make that become 14%, since your base is 10. Then they can do Hypercrit, which would actually be additive, so it would be like a current times 5 Hypercrit could be plus 50%, and then maybe that could potentially increase your rate from 10 to like maybe 60, or they could come up with some other system. Things get a little bit hairy whenever you're adding to base by so much, and then you're doing a multiplicative Hypercrit, and then you're throwing on like Frostveil Crown, and you're still getting guaranteed Lucky Strikes. So I understand it, but ultimately the arguments that get made are probably based on pets, like Phase and Mosquito and stuff like that. They don't want that to be able to Lucky Strike, and they don't want some of those individuals to be able to get as many resources as they do. I know I was once told that they wanted to avoid altering items. I don't know if they're going to or not. I just hope they don't go the lazy route and just throw a lien on there and just justify it by some ridiculous argument. And then, because what's going to happen is players are going to be pissed off. Like, I get, like, things like Granddad with some base increases and Hypercrit added on get to be out of hand. It becomes way too easy to just destroy things. And so, at the end of the day, I kind of feel like I understand it, but I don't want them to go, like, crazy with it. They don't need to be, like, wholesale altering how the game works. Like a lien would essentially essentially completely alter the way people play the game. So I think at the end of the day, I would just prefer that they just sort of minorly make some adjustments and not completely fuck people over. I mean, there's so many premium items that people have paid for that they just enjoy using, that if they wholesale change everything, it'll completely alter the way that they're forced to play the game, and that's not okay. Staff has had a track record recently of not going ham, not like completely fucking people over, and having a little bit of a compromise. So that's my hope. But we'll see. If you want to, leave a comment about your thoughts on this, what you hope happens, maybe whatever other comments you want. If they completely change it, are you going to feel like this is the last straw? You're going to quit? Do you want some drastic changes, and why? But that's all for this video. We're on the verge of potentially a disaster here, but hopefully staff does the right thing and they don't let the worship cult dictate how they decide to go about it.